Hey, this is Josh Matthews Morgan, and I wanted to share with you my one-page productivity tracker that I use every day to help make sure that I'm maximizing my productivity and to use it as a way of looking through trends also and see what I need to improve on a day-to-day basis. So yeah, but basically the way I look at productivity is there's two P's involved in that, right? The first one is prioritizing. And the second one is what this is about, which is being a producer, meaning output, getting stuff done, right? So I'm not going to go at all into the topic of prioritizing in this video because that's like its own thing. And someday I'm probably going to write a book about it and everything. But um, once you figured out what the most important tasks to do are, then this is what this sheet is about: is helping you make sure you're getting those done on a day-to-day basis. So it looks a little bit overwhelming at first when you see it, but it's really not that complicated. It's really pretty simple to fill out, and I've tried to make it as fill in the blanks and easy as possible. So what I'm going to do in this video is I'm just going to explain how you can take this sheet and customize it to your own, your own life and your own workflows. How you can modify, what you're measuring and what you're tracking for your own purposes. It's pretty simple. So let me go ahead and share my screen so you can see the sheet. All right. So this is the clean version of the sheet. You can see the sample up there. I've got two tabs on here. One is the clean tracker, which is what you'll use to modify and create your own thing. And then this is just it filled out. So you can see an example of 1 week filled out. It's just kind of a random week that I took and put there. Real quick, you're going to want to make sure you make a copy yourself. Go to file, make a copy, and then you can call it whatever you want. You can just call it, give it whatever name, make a copy, and it'll give you your own version of this sheet to use. So, all right, it's basically, I think, 4 or 5 different sections. You start with the date here. So today is the 3rd, and you just fill this out from left to right. I'm going to show you the sections, and then I'm going to kind of explain each one a little bit. There's a yes and no section. And you can see up here, there's a daily rating section where you rate yourself on a certain scale, like a 1 to 10 scale. I'll explain how it works. Then what I call daily reflection section. These are like thinking about your patterns. And again, all this is super easy to customize. And if this is too complicated for you, just make a simpler version of it. You can delete it. Delete anything on here. Like if you don't want this question, just select it and go delete column, right? I'm gonna undo that, but it's really pretty easy to change and make your own. And then towards the end, I've got like a shifting my focus to the next day. I filled this out at the end of each day, and it's a way of looking back on my day and deciding how well how well did I spend it? Did I do the behaviors that I was looking for in terms of being a producer? That's my whole concept of being a producer. And when you see the ratings section right here, I'll explain how that works in a second, but that's basically giving you a daily score and a daily grade of how well you did on your day. And so it's a grade just like a normal school grade of out of 100. So let me just go step by step. So you basically just fill it out, left to right. You put the date, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, start on a Monday. Let's just say that today is Monday. All right, I'm not going to explain each of these things because these are my own little rules that I do. And you can make your own thing, or you can, if you don't like this section, you can delete the whole thing. You can delete the entire yes and no section again, but just by selecting it and doing that. Okay, so one thing I've done here is these are basically, think about this as like a binary thing. Like, did I do this today or did I not do this today? And if you can break that down, you can see some of my rules. I'm kind of a late riser, but I always try to be out of bed by at least 9:30. I go to bed later too, and I work later too. It's a whole thing. But anyways, you can see, these are pretty self-explanatory. Cool thing about this is that as you say yes or no, it kind of gives you a visual. And as you fill it in, oops, I missed it. No, changes it to a red so you can see the days you missed it, the days you didn't. Okay, you can also delete it and it goes back to resets it. So And then as you'll notice from the sample tracker in this section, this is kind of a cool, it's got a weekly average. You don't have to use this if you don't want, if it's too fancy for you, but it tells you basically how many yeses, how many, as you can see, there's five days from Monday through Friday that I did this. I left my phone, whatever that rule is. Okay. So that's the yes and no section. Here, my black and white rules. This is to keep me from, leaking energy, doing things that are unproductive. Okay. So then we get to the daily rating section. I do recommend you use some version of this. So basically you're going to rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 on all these things. So these are the behaviors that I call being a producer, right? Getting stuff done in the most effective way possible. So for example, I got clear on my intentions for what I want to accomplish before starting each sprint. Meaning I got clear, what am I trying to do in this block of time? And let's say that today, I do this at the end of each day and just move left to right. So let's say that was an 8. Give myself an 8 out of 10. I use social media deliberately in intentional sprints and stayed on track while using it. Let's say I did that pretty well, 7. You can see I just fill this in 10, blah, blah, blah. I'm just going to put in random numbers. 8, 9, 7, 6. Okay. So this is your score. It just adds up all, you can see up here the little functions. It adds up your score here automatically. And it's a 62, but that's not the grade. Then you can see what the grade is. And this is just kind of a complicated formula that I used to create the grade. It's, so I got a 78 based on what I inputted today. Not bad, right? Room for improvement type of thing. Let's see, before I go any further, let me show you how to customize this. Let's say, so notice that it's out of 80. That's because there's 80 possible points because there's 8 things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, shoot. Did I mess this up? Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, there are 8 things. Okay, I thought I messed it up first. So total possible score of 80, right? And then this computes your daily grade. So if you want to change, if you want to only measure yourself on 5 things, let's say, you can delete these columns. And if you delete the columns, it'll keep the formula the right way. It'll just add it up. And then what you want to do is change this number 80 here. If you have 5 things, you would change it to 50. That's the total maximum points. Right? It's going to throw it off there because mine is 80, right? 80 total possible points. That just gives you a grade, and then you fill it in as you go through the week. And if you don't like the idea of grading yourself on these different things, this is one of the most helpful aspects of this sheet is to actually do it. And I'll say it's really, really, really helped my productivity a lot to use this sheet in exactly the way that I've designed it, because partly because of the weekly part. So let me explain that. Once you fill out all these, one each day, at the end of the week, and I do this on Sundays, you can do it whatever. You can also add, if you want to, if you work 7 days a week, you can add a Friday and a Saturday, and it shouldn't change the sheet too much. You just insert one row below and do Saturday, and you have a whole other thing. I just track this Monday through Friday. My weekends, I spend a little bit differently. So, all right. So you got your weekly review. The cool thing about this is, let me show you the sample one filled out. So you see my daily grades. I got an 80, 88, 85, 86, 89. This is going to give you an average. This little column down here gives you the average of things. And so what's the difference in grade? You can see this is where I do my weekly review. I'm trying to look at patterns throughout my week and things that I need to improve for the next week. Okay. So that's the whole point of doing this, is saying, and how can I be a little bit more intentional around this area? And one thing that's cool is here too, is that you can see down on these averages, you can see which numbers are kind of low. You can see that, I got an 8.8 on this one, a 9. I probably don't need to improve that much. It's pretty good. But this is only 7.2, meaning I wasn't really using my what I call my intention sheet and writing out my intentions for what I wanted to get done in that focus block, which is a really helpful thing to do. Getting clear, okay, what am I going to use this block of time for? So that's only a 7.2. That means there's room for improvement there for that next week. So maybe I decide I want to do something a little different the next week. Make it a habit to use that sheet before every focus, what I call focus blocks. And as you can see, this I don't know. I don't like how I don't know why it's down at the bottom there. This is something that you can do. Actually, a little hack. You can select up here, select the whole sheet, and then do the alignment like that. Click it, and you see how everything gets fixed. I like everything to be centered. It's just weird when it's not. Anyways, so you can see this is the weekly review thing. You do it after you fill out these things, you start. You can see what I've put in here. You can change it. So these are things that I'm tracking in the daily rating sections. What time did I go to bed the night before? It's a little bit later, like I said, on my time. What time did I wake up? What time did I start work? This is something else I'm tracking. How long does it take me to go from waking up to starting work? That's what I call my ramp up time. Again, some of that stuff is going to be stuff you're too much tracking for you. And you're not going to want to use all that. Just delete it. Just delete the sections you're not going to use. It's just so easy. If you don't want to track your ramp up time like I do, just delete it. I track my energy level because I like to know how much energy I have. The higher it is, the more work I tend to be able to do. Focus blocks. How many blocks of 45 to 50 minutes is usually what I call a focus block. They should call it 40 to 50 minutes, not 30. And I count, my goal every day is to get 5 of those in. It might be different for you. You might not be able to get 5 focus blocks, or you might even be able to get more. All right. So you can see, I'm not going to tell you all the little things of how to do, every single thing. Maybe I'll create a whole course on breaking this down and why each thing is there. What did I do well today? How satisfied on my progress on a scale of 1 to 5? Different things like this. This is just reflection, right? I like this question. If I were an investor, would I invest my own money in a person who displayed the habits I did today? Kind of an honest self-reflection. What can I improve on for tomorrow? And as you can see, this stuff stacks up. And this is the cool part about the weekly review process too. And let's say you see 3 things. I'm going to jump to this. What can I improve on tomorrow? See, I'll read this during the weekly review and say, wow, unexpected meeting time. I probably shouldn't have gotten to that one situation that afternoon, right? It's just a way of reflecting and making adjustments. That's all it is. Let me see if there's anything else really important on this. Big 3, you can probably delete that. The deep work it's a whole thing. That's a whole training around that. The big 3 is just what are your 3 priority goals to get done in that day. It's a really common productivity strategy just to write out your top 3 things that you need to get done. And then, start with the most important one or the most brain hungry one in the morning. So you get that one done and that you've done the hardest thing. Anyways, this is just some like planning stuff. I've got, I'll say I use a little bit of a hybrid approach. I'm not sure if you can see this screen. You can see the rest of this and see how it all works. I'm going to go back to this. I use a hybrid approach when it comes to planning out my days. I like, mostly I like using digital stuff, but I also like writing out my, my task lists. And this is a full focus planner that I use and I really like it. I like the design of this the best of all the planners. So you can see my chicken scratch handwriting. It's pretty bad, but I just think there's something to be said about a combination of using digital for what it's good at and then using like manual written out stuff for what it's good at. So hopefully you see the value of that. Like I said, when I started using this, is when my productivity really started to skyrocket, and especially when I started making adjustments on a day-to-day basis. I said, oh, I kind of screwed this up. I'll try to think of an example recently. Yeah. So I've got an app that blocks distracting websites until around 4 p.m., which is when I allow myself to take a break and read and, do whatever, just be on social media or just whatever, not productive stuff. But I didn't block Google. And what I found was in the morning, and this is how I found by using the sheet, I would just, still kind of tired and groggy and waking up, and I would like Google random stuff that popped into my head that wasn't important, but it would take, 15 or 20 minutes to, read that answer. And it was not a good use of my time. So that's something I just recently adjusted based on the sheet. And now I block Google even until around 4. So yeah, that one little change has made a huge difference. Now I'm like, I don't leak any energy anywhere. I don't like do stuff that's consuming in the mornings. And it's been a game changer for that. And I wouldn't really have made that change without having gone through the sheet and, sort of honestly self-reflecting. So I think I've given you everything you need to make it your own. One more thing. Yeah, I don't think I showed you this, but this is what I recommend. You'll see on the clean version right here. This is just so I can easily find which month. You'll also notice that I do it tracking by quarter, Q2, the second quarter of 2024. I tend to not want to like have a super long version of this sheet. This is up to you. You can do it annually, or you can do it quarter, or you can do whatever you want. But one thing I'll do is just, and the quarter, and then if I want to, you can hide the sheet. Let me see if I can find it. Well, whatever, you can figure that out. Hide. I have to figure it out. There's an easy way to hide this so you don't have to see hidden sheets. There we go. So you can see I've hidden a lot. I've been using this for a while. I've hidden a lot of different quarters, and I've really perfected this sheet over the years. Anyways, you can kind of figure that out. I wonder if it's like right here, hide sheet. There you go. Just right click it and then hide sheet. So yeah, what I do is I always make sure I have a clean copy of this, like pasted below. And then I put the dates in for the week. This is the week that I'm in right now. And then that's what I'll adjust here so I can see which week I'm dealing with. But I also put the date there. And then let's say I wanted a new version of it. I just copy and paste it, right? You just copy here, paste it below, and then you start, you just change the dates here so you know which week you're working with. I tend to do, yeah. So that would be like, the next one would be like 5/6, probably through 5/13. That's a Monday to a Monday. Anyways, you can see how it all works. If you do happen to like not have a clean sheet, I've had this before where I didn't have an extra one below there and I forgot to do it, to copy paste it. You can easily just copy like the one that's filled out and just go in and delete, select and delete. You see that? And it basically, oops. That usually doesn't, that's weird. It should on the clean tracker be fixed. It shouldn't keep the colors there if you delete it. Anyways, but I wouldn't delete anything like that. If you see zeros, it usually means it's like waiting for the numbers. So delete that. You can kind of play around with it though. This is a kind of a nerdy thing too, but you can, this little column just tells you trends too. You can, I don't use that super a lot, but it basically tells you what's the difference from week to week. You can play around with that and see what I've got going there. Anyways, that's it. It looks complicated, but I promise you that it's not. And it took me a little while to fill it out initially, but now it takes less than 10 minutes. I can just fly through it because I know what all the questions are. And it was still very helpful to do. So, all right. Hope you found that helpful. Let me know if you have any questions about this or, yeah, anything like that. All right. Thanks.